Okay, this is the final distance learning packet for May 11th. We are continuing with two-way tables, and I've had a lot of questions about these because of the wording. It's sometimes a little confusing. So there's a couple practice ones and then some more on the next page. So let's take a look at this. So again, these you have to read carefully because there's a lot of information, and depending on the order in which it's listed will determine where it goes in the table. So it says 90 people in a store were asked whether they liked jeans or khakis and whether they liked t-shirts or tank tops. So they were asked two questions. Their pants preference and then their top preference. And they were given two choices of each. And it says some information about the results. So first of all, 90 people, okay, so it says 90 people were asked. So 90 total people were asked, were surveyed. And if we look at our two-way table, we have a total that is for the last column, and we have a total that's on the bottom row here. So 90 would be the grand total of people, and that would be where those two totals meet. So 90 people were asked. So that means whoever liked t-shirts and tank tops, when we add those together, it has to be 90 people. And then the people that were asked about if they like jeans or khakis, that has to add up to 90. Okay, so now let's get to some of the inside pieces. All right, the next sentence says, out of 25 people that liked khakis, 15 liked t-shirts. Okay, so out of 25 people that liked khakis, so that was listed first, and that is our row, because that's where we find khakis. So out of 25, so 25 people liked khakis. Okay, so where does that go? So 25 people liked khakis. So that means 25 people liked khakis. So that's total people that liked khakis is 25. Out of those 25, 15 of them liked t-shirts. So out of the 25, 15 liked t-shirts. Okay, so let's just look at our table. So looking at that row, so 20 out of those 25 people, 15 liked t-shirts. So what does that mean about the people that like tank tops? So out of the 25 people that liked khakis, how many of them liked tank tops? So that is what would go here. Okay, so what do you think? So think about what total means. So total is 25. 15 of them like t-shirts. So how many like tank tops? All right, so those have to add to make 25. So 15 plus 10 equals 25. Okay, so there's that one. Now, the next sentence, it says there were 55 customers that liked t-shirts. So it doesn't say out of or anything like that. It's just, there it is. 55 people liked t-shirts. Okay, so where's t-shirts? So liked t-shirts. So here's t-shirts. This is a column now. So 55 people liked t-shirts. It doesn't say how many of them like jeans or how many of them like khakis. So all we know is 55 people liked t-shirts. All right, so out of those 55, we already know that 15 like khakis. So that means there must be 40 that liked jeans, because when we add these together, so it's just like an addition, okay? So we add down, it has to equal the total. Same with going across, we add, and it has to equal. Okay, so that's how we can check to make sure our numbers are right. Okay, so from this information, we can fill in the rest. So let's see here. I'm going to look at, so wherever we have 2 out of the 3 numbers, that's where we can fill in. So if we look at this row, which is the totals, so 55 plus what equals 90. Okay, 55 plus 35 equals 90. And please check this with the calculator. Okay, and then going down now, okay, I'm going to look at this column. So I have 10 plus something, 10 plus 25 equals 35. And now we can go down from this column, or we can look at this row to get that final number. So I'm going to add across. So 40 plus 25 equals 65. And then if I look at the column now, 65 plus 25, all right, does that equal 90? So we add 5 plus 5, that's 0, that's 10, and then we carry the 1. Yes, that's 90. Okay, so we can check our work in multiple ways. All right, so everything looks good. And then it says, find and interpret the relative frequencies of people in the survey by column. So we did this with the roller coaster example, but let's see if we can do this. So by column. Okay, so forget about the rows. And the reason we have to be careful is because we're going to order our sentence in a certain way. So basically, we're going to look at the columns. So that's all we care about. Okay, so I'm going to write a statement. I'm going to choose, again, same as we did before. I'm going to choose two different values. I'm going to choose this value, and I'm going to choose this value. So I'm going to write two statements. And then we could definitely write 4 statements, but I'm just asking for 2. So let's say, and I'm going to use this second sentence as my example. All right, so it says relative frequencies, though. Remember, that is percent, okay? So that first number under the t-shirts, so we need to make a percent for that. So 40 out of 55. 40 out of 55 people, and then that's how we're going to start. So we need to know what percent that is. So 40 divided by 55, and that's, I'm going to round it. So let's say 73%. So 73% of people who like, and we have to list this first, who like t-shirts, also, and that corresponds with this one, jeans, also like jeans. Okay, so the thing is, we just had to list the heading of that column first. So that's why we say t-shirts first. And then we talk about what that number means out of that column, and it is referring to the number of people that like jeans. So 73% of the people who like t-shirts. So there's 55 people that like t-shirts, and 40 of them, so the majority, also like jeans. Okay, so let's go to the other one. So now we're talking about tank tops. So now we need to make a ratio 10 over, we're using the total at the bottom, so 35, 10 over 35, that's about a third. 10 divided by 35. And then if I wanted to show you how we're going to make this into a percent, so we just multiply by 100. And then we round it. So 28.6, I'm just going to call it 29%. So 29% of people who like tank tops also like khakis. Okay, this is the one that we're doing, so it corresponds with khakis here. Again, we can write 2 more statements, but this is fine. Okay, let's go on. I'm going to do this example for you, okay? And then this page, I'm going to leave up to you. All right, so it's going to be the same kind of thing as we did over here. But these ones, we actually have to build the table for both of them and then write the statements. But over here, the first one, you are only building the two-way table, and it doesn't even say to write statements. So that's all you have to do is just get the numbers in the correct box. And then for the second one, the table is done, okay? And then all you have to do is write a couple of statements based off of the rows or based off of the columns. So it's a little bit easier than the practice. Okay, so here's another one. We have to figure out where the numbers go first. And it says 150 people were asked. So that's our total. So where did we put our total again? Okay, the bottom right. So 150. 150 people were asked whether they like to see comedies or dramas. So that was one thing. Okay, so what type of movie? And then the other one was popcorn and no popcorn. Okay. And then next statement says, out of 90 people that liked comedies. So out of 90 people that liked comedies. Comedies, out of the 90 total people that like comedies, 75 of those people said they buy popcorn. So 75 people out of the 90 buy popcorn. Okay, so right away, we can fill in that extra, or that missing number there in that middle box. So 75 plus what equals 90? 75 plus 15 equals 90. Okay, so we could change this sentence here, and we could say, out of 90 people that like comedies, 15 said they do not buy popcorn. Okay, so that's kind of that's a statement. It's not a frequency. It kind of is, but it doesn't give us the percent. So very similar to what we need to do for part B, but we need to find the percent. All right, and then the last sentence says there were 40 people that said they do not buy popcorn. So 40 people do not buy popcorn. So here's no popcorn. So 40 total people do not buy popcorn. Okay, so we have that middle number here. We can fill in. So 15 plus what equals 40? Okay, so 25. So make sure you're checking your work. All right, you use a calculator. So 15 plus 25 equals 40. All right, and then we look at the total on the far right. 90 plus what is 150? So that's a 60. Okay, and then let's work towards the left and get those other two boxes. So the middle row, so we have some number plus 25, and that has to equal 60. So 35 plus 25 equals 60. Okay, and then on the last one, something plus 40 equals 150, 110. That's what we think, but let's add down just to make sure. So what is 75 plus 35? Okay, so we add that, and we do get 110. Okay, so just check all directions and make sure all the totals are correct. Okay, and then we need to write some statements. So I'm going to choose maybe this, maybe this box here and this one here. I'm going to write statements that talk about those. So frequency statements. Okay, so the first one. All right, since, and we can go, does it say by rows or columns? Okay, it does say by rows, so we got to be careful. Okay, so by row, and I'm going to start with the 35. So by row, so that means we have to talk about the row heading first. Okay, so we're going to need a percent, so we're going to do 35 out of 60. So 35 out of 60. Because we're using row, we need to use the total that's on the far right. We don't care about that 110. So 35 out of 60 is what we're looking for. So 35 divided by 60. So 58%. So 58% of people who like dramas also buy popcorn. All right, and then the other one regarding comedy, so that's 15 out of 90. So 15 out of 90. So 15 divided by 90. And again, if you want to look at the percent a little bit easier, you can multiply by 100. So that'd be about 17%. So 17% of people who like comedies also, or actually, let's just say, out of people who like comedies, 17% of people who like comedies do not buy popcorn. Okay, so why would any of this matter? Okay, how would this be used in the real world? Well, this is absolutely used. This example, okay, movie theaters, right? They know by sales, by looking at the receipts, they could build these tables, they can come up with percentages, and then based off of what they're showing at that time, like if the majority is comedy or the majority is drama, then they know how much popcorn to prepare. But in general, if we just look at this, both categories, drama or comedy, the majority of people did buy popcorn. So it's clear that just people in general like popcorn. And if we look at the numbers here, so 110 compared to 40 people, almost 3 times as many people buy popcorn. So a lot of information that we can get from these tables. Okay, so again, I'm going to leave these other 2 up to you, but if you have problems, then reach out, Google Classroom, leave a comment, whatever you need. So this is the end of May 11th.